Hey everybody, it's Dave. Welcome to another Philmont Shakedown video as my son and I get ready to go to the Philmont Scout Ranch this summer. We have our itinerary now. We are going on the ATV trek. It's about 60 miles. Riding ATVs is the kind of big feature. We also get to tie some flies and fish, shoot black powder and 30-06 and some arrows. So I'm excited about that, and we climb Mount Phillips, which is going to be really cool. So super excited about all that. If you've watched my other videos, you know that the one piece of gear that was absolutely coming with me, no questions asked, was my REI Ridgeline 65 backpack that I've had for 15 years. I've backpacked and camped with this pack in Oregon, in Washington, in Arizona, and here in California. And we started doing some more multi-day stuff, and I started noticing some stuff that really made me kind of rethink that decision. Some of the stuff I've lived with for years. Big thing, one of the big things is there is no like back ventilation. Your back gets really sweaty. I've dealt with that, not the worst thing in the world. Also, the straps have kind of compressed and, you know, get a little uncomfortable, you know, towards the end and longer day stuff. We hiked from Mount Laguna to Interstate 8, which is close to 20 miles, predominantly downhill. And towards the end of the second day, I started to get pretty sore. But again, that's something I've dealt with. The biggest thing is the way this thing stores water, and I just kind of had it. Running a bladder with it is kind of the only practical way to carry water. And so one of the other kids who's coming to Philmont with us has been using a really old beat up Troop pack for a couple of years now, and I think he's going to be pretty excited because I'm going to have him use this one and then maybe just give it to him. We'll see. The replacement is a Granite Gear Crown 2. It's a 60-liter pack that I will show you guys really quickly. First of all, I'll just give you like a quick look at it. Obviously, I've got the trekking poles on here. Let me pop those off really quickly. That's a handy little feature. Whoops, all tangled up. Handy little feature. I like trekking poles. Couple of things about this pack that I really like. I looked at a bunch of different packs before I got this one. I ultimately landed with Granite Gear and was kind of in between a couple of their packs. I looked at some of the super lightweight stuff like ULA and Z packs. Those just weren't going to do it for me. I'm not an ultra light backpacker. That's not something that's super important to me. This pack is pretty light. It's like 2.3 pounds, all, you know, in and done. And I'll show you kind of how some of the things you can lighten the load for it if you really need to do that. I don't, but it's half the weight of my Ridgeline. So that right there is a huge benefit. I really like here on the back the having some stability. There's an HDPE sheet that's in here that provides some rigidity, but you also have this really nice back panel, and this is hard to see. I could never see this on videos, but this whole thing is covered with a mesh that creates some space and some airflow that I really like. It's definitely more minimalist than my Ridgeline. The shoulder straps are thinner. The waist belt is thinner, but the overall pack is lighter, and my setup is lighter as a result. Moving around the sides of the bag, one of the things that's just sort of brilliant about the way they did this is you have these huge stretchy pockets. Again, so I've got an Nalgene bottle here. That's something I probably won't bring. I just kind of put it in here to show you how massive these pockets are and how much they really stretch. What's cool about the pockets too is you have these compression straps here and here and here and here, and the same on the other side. And the straps can either go over the pocket or they can go under the pocket, like you see on this side. And that's just a nice little feature to be able to kind of use the contents of the bag to really compress it down and make it a more comfortable load to carry. The big thing, and the reason I landed with Granite Gear and was in between the Crown 2, which is what this is, the Blaze AC60 was the other pack I was really looking at, was this pocket right here. This pocket is massive. I mean, it's huge. I could put a tent in here. you know, shelter, anything. What I'm going to use it for, and the one reason I really was just over the Ridgeline, is for this. This is one of my favorite little new toys. It's a CNOC Vecto 2-liter water bottle that I'm going to show you right now. All right, so if you saw my first video, you saw me talk about some of the different water systems that I was thinking about carrying. I'm that guy, I want to have a lot of water with me. I want to be having, you know, 2 liters minimum. And part of that is because I know I'm hiking with Boy Scouts, and Boy Scouts, even 15-year-olds, and we've got some 16-year-olds who are going. We even have actually an 18-year-old who's just turned 18, so he's going back as one of our adults, which is pretty cool. And I want to carry extra water because they're Boy Scouts, right? They do silly things. I found this CNOC water system that actually I found this through Darwin on the Trail. So Darwin, if you're by any chance watching this, thank you. This thing is fantastic. I really love it. And in the other video, I talked about the Sawyer Mini, and that's what I used last time. And basically what I do is I have a gravity feed system. I just have some paracord, and it's got a little loop there, and you just set this thing up like that. And if you've got, you know, 20 minutes for 2 liters of water, or maybe a little less for a liter to fill up that water bottle that I use, that's fine. But I want to like get my water and get moving and fill up my water bottle and move. And that's really why I got the Sawyer Squeeze, because you can just extend it. Again, this fits on this thing. It also fits on like the smart water bottles, which is probably what I'm going to end up carrying. And then it's just a simple squeeze operation. And you can see the flow rate is pretty good coming out of this thing. It's a lot higher than the Sawyer Mini for sure. And I'll give my son the Sawyer Mini. He'll carry that. Sorry for the wind. He'll carry that just as another little backup. But what's cool about this bag, I'll show you this now that I've got a little water out of it, is the way it works. The way this bag works, it's got this slider on top, and then it goes over like that, and then you have this massive opening. You can see, like, that's huge. So if you have a stream and the flow is really light in the stream, and again, like I'm hiking around in Southern California, sometimes you just find a trickle. Something like that to be what you're going to source water with is fantastic. And then if it is empty, hopefully it won't be for very long, it's as easy as breaking it down to that. You throw a rubber band around that or whatever, and that's my little water system. So again, the CNOC Vecto, 2 liters of water in this thing, and I love that. And it's a big reason why I went to the Granite Gear pack, because it had that huge pocket in the back that's just going to allow me to carry an amount of water that I really want to have with me. All right, so now you've got the Vecto full of water. The question is, where do you store it? And with this Ridgeline pack, the answer was inside the pack. I didn't really like that answer. There is a big pocket right here, which looks to be perfect. However, when you have gear in this pack, this pocket is largely useless. I mean, it's like you can put some gloves and maybe some toilet paper in there. This thing really doesn't stretch hardly at all. And when the pack is filled up, that's inaccessible. It's got a pocket on the side, but it's not deep enough. You can see the thing just hangs over and slumps, and that's ultimately what prompted me to start looking at new packs. I landed with Granite Gear because the Granite Gear pack has this massive pocket on the back. This thing is humongous. You can see how easy this water bottle just slips down in there. And there's still a ton of room in this pocket. My son and I split carry our tent. And he carries the poles and the fly, and I carry the tent body. I'm probably going to carry the poles because I have a lot lighter setup, and there's plenty of room right here. I mean, this is actually a fantastic feature. And that's where I sort of landed with Granite Gear as the pack. I was in between a couple of different Granite Gear packs. The other one was the Blaze AC60, which I think is a better looking backpack. The red and brown, I think, is really a great look. This one is just way more functional and a lot cheaper. Here's what Granite Gear does. With the Blaze AC60, it's a very similar pack, different closure, and I'll talk about that in a second. No brain. So that pack is a base cost of $240. Then you can pay another $40 and get a brain. That's $280. And this pack is $200 on Amazon, which is where I got it. You can also just, if you don't want the brain, it comes off like that. Very, very simple, very, very easy. This is a 5-liter capacity compartment here. I probably will use it. I haven't fully determined that yet. I like the fact that I can take it off if I don't want to use it super easily like that. This would be really handy for like toiletries, right? So, you know, you're in camp and, you know, you're in a wet camp and there's showers. Hey, there's showers in Philmont, certain places. You have all your toiletries in here, you just detach this and take it with you. It's pretty easy. So I kind of like that. One of the other issues I ran into with the Ridgeline, and that I've talked to a lot of people who have, you know, more traditional packs, is they tend to put a lot of stuff in the brain, and I did that. The Ridgeline brain has 2 pockets. This one has just one big pocket. The Ridgeline's got one on the outside and then one on the inside. I'd put a lot of stuff in there because it was really handy and I thought functional. What I noticed in particular on our last hike, we're going downhill a lot, is this gets heavy, and then you have this sort of heavy thing swinging around in back, and it just creates a lot of instability. And that's another one of the things that really led me to this Granite Gear pack, was just the ability to either take this or not. Let me show you the closure really quickly. Brilliant little closure here. This Y-shaped dual clip here, which is pretty cool. And then it's a roll top. I like the roll top closure. Both my Ridgeline and the Blaze AC60 are a drawstring, so it's like, you know, which is okay too. This, I think, is going to be a lot more water resistant. Oh God, it's not waterproof, so I don't want to tell you that, but it's water resistant. Also, I mentioned I don't have troop gear in here. I think I said that earlier. If I need to get troop gear, I'm pretty sure I can get it in this area. I have seen people with like bare canisters on top of these things using this toggle. You can fit a ton of stuff on top of this pack. I'm not saying that's going to be comfortable. I'm just saying you could do it. This pack is also hydration compatible. My own personal water is a little bit of an issue as well. I like to be able to grab and go with water. I don't want to have to, you know, have my son or somebody else grab water for me out of a pack, or, you know, master yoga in order to get to this pocket here. Like that is not a functional pocket for me, and I don't carry big heavy Nalgene bottles like that. I just put it in there so you could see what that was. What I did with my Ridgeline to fix that issue was I added, oops, I will say I'm not a huge fan of this sternum strap, and I think I'm going to take the one off my Ridgeline. The one on the Ridgeline is much nicer. It's a little bit bigger, so it's easier. You can see I'm struggling with it. Hello, get in there. Oh, that's me. I added this Molly style pack, so it just clipped on to my shoulder strap like that. The only thing with this is it's just too big. You know, again, I don't carry a water bottle like this. I usually just carry some like smart water bottles. I just don't have any right now. It fits that nicely. It's just big. And the other thing that I like about this pack versus the Ridgeline is these pockets here. Hip belt pockets. Hip belt pockets, super, super handy. And I can put my camera in there. The camera I'm filming this with is a Sony RX100 Mark V. And that fit really nicely in here. So I could just pop shots, go right back in. I don't need that anymore because I have this one. Speaking of taking pictures, one of the other things that I did with this pack that is not stock, my modifications, if you will, was the pack comes with a little manual. Right? Of course it comes with a little manual, and it's got a little bungee cord, which I'll kind of come up here and show you. This is just a little bungee cord, nothing special really. I got this idea from an Osprey pack that I was looking at. I like to take pictures, and you know, if you're coming along with your trekking poles and you want to take some pictures and there's people behind you because you're on a single track, like when we're doing hiking on the PCT, it's all single track. You've got to like, what, you know, lean those against a rock and then get into your pockets. Instead, I just created this little guy, and I can just take my poles, and they're off of me, and now I can get into this pocket here. Boom, camera, take picture, keep moving, right, with camera back, get poles, keep going. So maybe don't throw that away. That's kind of a useful little thing that I thought was a little clever on my part. So I'll take credit for that, although it's probably credit due to Osprey, really. I got the idea from them as one of the ultralight, or not ultralight, but lightweight packs that I was looking at was one of the Osprey packs, and it had this great little setup for the trekking poles, and it was kind of a two stage thing. There was another piece like here that you could hike with them, which I thought was functional. A couple other cool features about this pack: the belt. The belt, again, pretty minimal belt itself, but it is adjustable. And I don't just mean with these drawstrings. You can take this belt out, and on the back of it, there's two sort of Velcro pads, right, that go together. And you can make them wider or narrower. So if you're out on trail for a long time and you lose a bunch of weight, you can make sure this belt always fits you, which is really nice. Another thing about fit with this pack, if you are considering it, measure your torso. There's different torso lengths. It's not an adjustable thing. And you want to make sure that you get the correct torso adjustment so that you can fit properly. What else was I going to tell you about this pack? That's pretty much it. Feature-rich pack, really comfortable. And again, it's just lighter weight. And that, to me, is one of those things that is important. I'm not a super weight weenie. Most people who have Philmont aren't. But I've seen, people carrying around 75-liter packs that are stuffed with stuff. And I definitely want to get down and get more minimal, because Philmont's not the only trip we're going to do. We're going to do some other stuff. My son and I are looking at, trying to do a trip every year. And stuff like the John Muir Trail or some of the sections in the Arizona Trail look really, really fun. Grand Canyon, rim to rim, a lot of that stuff looks really, really fun. And so this is not going to be the last trip we do for sure. And I am really, really happy with the choice of this pack. And again, for $200, that's just a pretty incredible piece of kit, in my opinion. So there you go, the Granite Gear Crown 260-liter pack with this incredibly large pocket on the back that is just brilliant. The other thing I guess I would tell you really quickly is this is all one pocket. There is no, zipper down here. And again, that's a weight thing, just designed to kind of keep the weight off the pack. So yeah, really excited to take this thing out and get out with it. And I'll give you guys an update when I do, and after the next trip. Next trip is Mount San Jacinto. So we're going out to Palm Springs area. The younger scouts are going to take the tram up to the top. The Philmont crew's going in the night before. We'll camp at a scout ranch in Idlewild, and then get up in the morning, hike Devil's Slide, which is only like 4.5 miles, but it's like a 1,700 foot elevation gain. Pretty serious wall. And then we'll meet up with those guys on top, camp, go do another hike the following day, and then come home. Hike back down, come home. So pretty excited about that. Really excited to get this out on the trail and kind of put it through its paces, see how it feels to have it on my back for an extended period of time. So there you go. Granite Gear Crown 260-liter pack. Big fan. Great deal for $200. Take care. See you next time.